Hey guys, I'm Jacqueline.
I'm Marcella.
And we are about to talk about our favorite bad boys.
Yes. So you guys know that we love the bad boys in movies, TV shows, books, you name it. So we decided that this would be a fun video to do, just to talk all about them.
Yeah, we just wanted to go through our favorites because you know how we love the dark side.
Just so you guys know, these are in no particular order. We're just gonna kind of name them because we can't rate them from like favorite to least favorite because that would literally kill us.
Going to the Star Wars side of things, we have Anakin Skywalker.
Anakin. I was actually just reading Star Wars fanfiction yesterday. I was reading Anakin and Padme fanfiction and Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah, Anakin, that fanfiction's good. The redemption ones are just like...
I feel like Revenge of the Sith Anakin, that's my favorite.
The best Anakin
I feel like I rewatch that movie the most.
Yeah.
And yeah. It's something about the long hair and him going to the dark side. Obviously it's devastating, but it's also really hot.
It's really hot. There's just something about it, and just like when he's so angry and how he's so tortured too. Like if you think about how he goes to the dark side, it's really because he loves Padme so much and he's so terrified of losing her and losing their babies, and he just falls into the dark side because of love, and it's so tragic and it makes us cry every single time. Every time. And he is literally one of the loves of our lives. Like, we just love him very much. Hayden Christensen, we're gonna meet you one day.
One day soon. That is on my bucket list. That will happen. So, going off of that, we have Ben Solo.
Yeah, there's just something about
the dark side. I love it.
I've honestly already come to terms with this, that I would be a Sith if I was in the Star Wars world, because I would go with them. Like, that scene in Last Jedi when he brings his palm out because he wants Rey to join him, I would join him in a heartbeat. And I would also have joined Anakin at that end when she was like, Anakin, you're breaking my heart. I would have joined him too.
Yeah, I think we would have joined the bad guys.
We would have joined it.
We would have figured that out later. We were like, oh, it's okay. Like, we can get him to come back to the light side. We can figure it out. But yeah, there's something about the dark side that is very compelling, and it's, I want more of it. I want all the bad boys.
And then is just Kylo Ren. Oh my god, that man is gorgeous, Adam Driver. And listen, he's so tragic too.
Yeah, exactly. I think apart from obviously the physical looks of Anakin and Ben, I think that their whole story is really what brings you in as well. And I think that you could understand why they're doing what they're doing, and that's always like the best villains have the best story. And I think that theirs is just, he's our Anakin's our favorite villain of all time, I would say, but I would say Ben is very close to that.
They're honestly the best, and I feel
so much better than his end in Rise of Skywalker.
It's fine. That's why we have fan fiction, and I'm not giving up hope that we can bring Ben Solo back somehow through some way, with maybe, who knows, but I feel so sorry for him too, because his whole story is like even Anakin, I feel like they're so similar, where as children they were just led to believe in like the Jedi world, and it's so strict and confining in a way. And I think Ben in specifically, I think we learn a lot like backstory, like about what happened at like the Jedi, like at the Academy with Luke and everything like that. And it's so tragic, and he never really got the full chance, and by the time he does, like by the time these guys do, they die.
It's too late.
And it just hurts us every time. We're not going to talk about the end of Rise of Skywalker because that shit didn't happen.
Traumatizing. I still sob every time I watch it.
Every time.
So now we're gonna go back a little ways to Vampire Diaries.
Remember that time? That was a time.
Vampire Diaries was a time, and I feel like a lot of people on our channel don't know that we watch Vampire Diaries, because I think we had like one video about Vampire Diaries like a really long time ago. But we've never done reactions to Vampire Diaries before, but we did watch all of Vampire Diaries. We love Vampire Diaries, and obviously we love Damon. Yeah, he was our favorite. Stefan too is wonderful, but I think we were more like Damon girls. So again, there's just something about that.
And especially like in the earlier seasons, like he's got the leather jacket and he goes like the way that he changes for Elena and how he becomes like good almost. And yeah, we love Damon and Elena. Like their story is fantastic. And obviously I think Stefan was also great. Like I love the season when he's a Ripper and he's like bad. Like I don't know what it is, you guys. I don't know what that says about us, how attractive it is.
I think also because Damon was like bad, but then he ends up like trying to be good.
Yes,
so
he tries so hard to be good. And I think that's the whole thing. We love the story arc of like the villain, like when you fall to darkness and how you rise up at the end and try to do better. And I think like the quote Harry Potter, like there's dark and light inside of everybody, and I think that that complexity is so good. And yeah, we loved Vampire Diaries so much, and yeah, Damon is wonderful. Speaking about Harry Potter, Draco Malfoy, where are you Tom Felton girls?
We've like wanted to write a whole paper about Draco. I feel like we'll do that one day where we write like a whole analysis on his character, because he's just, obviously he's very, very good looking, but he's also very, very interesting. And
I think there's just something about his whole background is just so sad. How he grew up in this life where he was forced to become a Death Eater like his father. And how like, I think you hear that a lot in like the books and in the movie, how he always quotes his dad. He's like, oh wait till my dad hears about this, my father. Like he talks so highly about his dad, and he tries to be his dad in a way, and it's just not who he is. And I love that you know, we see like how his loyalty to his mom, and I think that that's like one of the things that like I loved about him, is how loyal he was to his mom, and how in the end I love like in the movie how it shows him just like walk off, like, and he goes to his mom. And I think
he made the wrong choices.
He made the wrong choices.
He made the wrong choices. I feel like he just went down that path and it just spiraled and it just snowballed in that way, and he was just too deep into that toxicity and like the bad side of like all of that. And
but
like,
he was terrified the whole time.
And like with Voldemort, but yeah, he was
terrified. He was a boy, and oh my god,
he was young. Exactly, he was very impressionable.
Yeah,
so,
and that scene when he tries to kill Dumbledore, and oh my god, Tom Felton kills that scene in the movie. We're talking about more like the movie Draco than the books, because in the book he's like just like he's more bully-like, I feel like, in the books, but in the movie there's just something about the way that Tom Felton plays him where you could see that layer in it, I think, and how he brings it to life. And I think that scene when he's like shaking and he's crying and he's like, don't you understand, like I have to do this or he's gonna kill me. And like it's really like about him being terrified backed in a corner, but at the end
he felt like he had no other choice. Yeah.
And then at the end, obviously, he doesn't because he can't. But yeah, the entirety of Half-Blood Prince, how you see that struggle within him, how he's like crying at the sink at one point in the movie, and it's just, it's so good. And if you have not read any fan fiction that is Hermione, get on that.
That is worth that. So another villain that we have to talk about in Harry Potter is Snape. So now this is like a villain, kind of, because in the first couple books, like, he's not great to Harry. He bullies Harry. He's very mean. He's Snape. Yeah. But then, obviously, like, as the books go on, you learn more about like Snape's backstory, and obviously with like Lily and
I mean, listen,
all of that.
Personally, like, I feel like we don't like really like love Snape like that. Like, I know a lot of people like love him and we like him, but
I can see why they love him.
I can see why. Yeah, I can see
for me, like, I feel like he could have been different towards Harry all of those years. That's what gets me personally. It's great if you like him, but I think that he needs to be on this list just because of the complexity of that, and how he started off as like a bully, honestly. Yeah,
he was so, I mean,
and he was there for Harry in the end, and I think that's why like for me he would make this list. I think that he's definitely not my favorite like bad guy like of all time. Like, he wouldn't make like my top like 5 if I had to pick, but I think that he's still one that like it's important to name, like he would still be relevant,
I think well, because I think he does have a tragic story also with Lily, and I think that romance that could have been almost, and
I think it's also like it's very sad, like it's sad. When you think about his story and how he like why he is the way he is and why he's so like gloomy and like everything about him, I feel like it comes from a place of like him just not getting the love of his life and like
like I wish that he was nicer to Harry and everybody like over the years, but I think that that there was a reason for that, because I think that they wanted to make it a big, I think JK wanted to make it a big surprise when at the end that he was good the whole time. And I think his loyalty to Dumbledore is something that like we really appreciate, because Dumbledore is one of our favorite characters. Like we love Dumbledore, so I really love that at the end like he was there for Dumbledore in a way. Like yes, he killed him, but he did it to not burden Draco with that guilt on like his soul, and I think that he also did it because Dumbledore asked him to. Like at the end of the day, Dumbledore planned his own death. Like he knew what was coming. He knew
it had to be done.
He knew it had to be done, and he chose Snape.
Snape was very loyal to him, and I think that is very telling to his character. Even though he was angry and he was bitter and he was very mean to Harry, I think that tells a lot about him, is that he like in the end he still was loyal to Dumbledore and he did what was right. So that's definitely why he's on this list.
Like the complexity, he's just like he's really well written, like writing wise, it's genius.
So now we are going to talk about voice styles. This is personally one of my favorite. I think that is probably my favorite season of Teen Wolf.
It's the best season.
The one with voice styles. I think that Dylan is such an incredible actor, and to see him have that different side of Styles, who is so different from Voight Styles, because Styles is so good and he's always there for his friends and he's like not evil obviously, but I love seeing Dylan like that, and it was really hot voice styles too. It was. Not gonna lie, it was. But like the acting was incredible, and even like it was crazy. That was a
It was a great season. But again, I think like yes, it's very hot when he's Voight Styles, but I think that there is just Dylan in that scene. In that one scene,
it really showed like how incredible of an actor that he is.
How you were able to like see such a huge difference in Styles and Voight Styles. And I love that one scene with like him and Lydia, and it's like you see like the two different versions of Styles, and it's so cool. And that's the best. That's the best season of Teen Wolf. And and obviously like the Stydia that came from it was really great too.
The fan fictions that came from it were wonderful too.
The next character that we need to talk about is Lucifer.
So we just finished Lucifer very recently, guys, and if you haven't watched it, we highly recommend it. It is so much fun. It's a great show. And it's very interesting because when you think of Lucifer, the devil, you think of pure evil. Like evil, like that is the most evil thing in the whole universe. But then when you watch the show, you realize that there's so much more to him. And I just love how complex Lucifer is on the show, and his like development throughout the 4 seasons.
There's just something so amazing and clever about the idea of like the devil solving crimes, like and how he wants to punish bad. And I think obviously like knowing that he was an angel first who got casted out of heaven, and the whole backstory with even like Amenadiel, who we love Amenadiel so much, and I just like that's his brother, but like the relationship with his brother, even his father, like the way that he talks about God is very interesting, like from that perspective in a way. I don't know, it's very, very interesting. We are Catholic, so like for us to like, I don't know, it's different, but it's so good. Like we really recommend it if you have it. And Tom Ellis kills it. Like he's so good, and obviously he's so attractive, but he just brings such a great complexity and layer to his character, and that show is just so amazingly written, and we can't recommend it enough.
Yeah, definitely go watch it. So next we are going to talk about Murphy from The 100. So now Murphy is a character who I feel like he was more of your typical villain in the earlier seasons, where he was just like, in season 1, like he's the villain. Like they were gonna like cast him out, they almost killed him. Yeah. So I feel like as time goes on, he's not so much of a villain, like he works together with the other characters. But I feel like he's a character though that if the opportunity arises where like he needs to make a choice that is going to be better for him and not so great for other people, he'll do that. So he could go like either way. Like he straddles the line of like being a good guy and being a bad guy. And like in general, the show goes into that a lot. But I feel like Murphy is somebody who like his whole character arc has been about that.
I think that there's just something so like when you watch it, it's like you never know what he's gonna decide. Like
exactly, and he's like a wild card.
He's a wild card, and it keeps you on your feet when you watch a character like that, because he could do something totally evil or he could do something good. And I think that like knowing not knowing where he's gonna go, what side of the line he's gonna straddle. That's also interesting.
That's also what makes him such a fun character too.
Yeah, he's really funny, and I love that he's like the cockroach of the show. I think that makes it like he just doesn't die. Like no matter what this guy gets into, he doesn't die. That's not really a spoiler, but yeah, I think he's fantastic. We love Murphy. So this is going back in time to when I think this was probably the beginning of our fixation to the dark side.
Honestly, yeah.
This was where it all began, and that is with Spike and Angel from Buffy.
Yeah, we used to watch Buffy, guys, when we were very young, like in like 2nd grade. Yeah, like, we were like 7 years old watching Buffy, and I think even back then, the bad guys were just really cool to watch.
Yeah, and I think like, okay, so let's go. So Angel. So Angel's not like, he's a vampire with a soul. So he's not like bad really until like throughout the show. Like he does like lose his soul and stuff like that, and then that's when shit gets crazy. But oh my god, it was so good. Like those episodes of Buffy in like season 2, oh my god, it's so,
I would love to go rewatch Buffy.
Good. And he just like, oh my god, it's just it's so fantastic. And then Spike is really, really complex, because he's another one who kind of goes back and forth with like being bad and being good.
I feel like Spike's more like he's
more like the evil one.
Not so much Angel. I feel like Angel from the majority is more like good. But yeah, Spike is more bad. But I feel like he's not completely bad. Yeah. Because he's still like on our side most of the time. So yeah, it goes back and forth with that.
But it's so good, especially like in like the last season of Buffy. Like, oh my god, when he gets a soul eventually, and he's just so tortured from having a soul and from what happened, like what he's done in the past. And I think that's such a great idea of like, for Buffy, like Joss Whedon. It's so cool to see like these vampires have souls and what that does to them, to have that consciousness and to feel what they've done. And you get to see that in the show, and you see how tortured they both get at one point from it. And it's so good, because like vampires are like, and like vampires are supposed to be like evil, like, you know, like they kill people, they suck their blood and stuff. But I think that the way that Buffy does it is they make these characters, like they make you like love these characters. And that's the same with like Vampire Diaries, like they make you love these characters, and then to see them, like to see like their arc, like where they go. Like I just love the arc of like going down and then coming back up. It's just like, it's probably my favorite.
Definitely.
And yeah, if you haven't watched Buffy, please watch Buffy.
Go watch. You have a lot of fun watching that. So the next villain that we have to talk about is Savitar. This is from The Flash. And I think that this was probably one of my favorites. It was probably my favorite season.
It was our favorite season. Yeah, we love
because I think similar to Void Styles, we got to see a different side of Barry, because more so with The Flash, Barry Allen is good. He is good. That's it. Like he always does what is right, and he always tries to save everybody. And so to see Savitar, I feel like we got to see a different side of Grant Gustin. And
I think, again, it's like the same thing as Void Styles. Like to see like the actors' extent, like, and like their level of like where they can go it's just so amazing to watch, and I love the concept of like having like one of like our heroes be the villain. I think it also so cool.
There was so much at stake in that season too.
Yeah,
I feel like that season
Iris.
took a lot of risks where like, oh my gosh, like I feel like we could not predict that season either. There was no way to know what was gonna happen, and I think that's why it was probably my favorite season of The Flash. So I think that as the seasons got on, it got a little bit predictable, and they didn't exactly like take so many risks where like they were killing off characters and things like that. So I think that season, like with the whole thing with Iris, and you didn't know what was gonna happen, like it was just so intense. And yeah, that was my favorite season. I think that like Grant Gustin did a phenomenal job with that, with Savitar.
He really did.
Yeah.
Another character that we have is Dan Scott from One Tree Hill.
Yes.
You guys, if you have finished One Tree Hill, I don't want to spoil his arc for you, but it's so good, you guys. Like, to see like where he is from like originally, like he's a terrible father to Lucas. He's even really bad to Nathan, and he just makes so many mistakes and in his life, and even like with Karen, like his entire arc, and the jealousy that he has for his brother, which leads him to do something really, really, really bad.
It's this bad guy.
It's amazing to watch.
But then as it goes on, like his redemption is just like insane. Like it's so good.
Especially
it's probably like
it's amazing.
One of the best on TV that I could think about.
On TV.
TV, yeah.
It's so great. Like the way that when you see him interact with Jamie, it's like it tugs at your heartstrings, and you're like, why is this tugging at my heartstrings? I hate you so much.
And like I cried a lot with Dan. Like I'm not gonna spoil what happens with his story, but like
and it's just so talented. Like the writing on One Tree Hill is amazing, and yeah, Dan Scott is one of the most well-written characters in TV ever.
Yeah,
like,
if you haven't seen One Tree Hill, that's like one of our all-time favorite shows. Go watch it. You will love it.
You'll hate Dan at first, but like just wait till season 9.
The last villain that we want to talk about is Sebastian Morgenstern.
Talking the books, like I'm sure you guys know, we aren't like we're book fans of the Shadowhunter Chronicles. So I
will say though that I feel like the Sebastian Will Tudor was great. I will say Will Tudor did a great job with Sebastian. I think that his acting was really, really great.
It was.
But for this video, we're just talking strictly on our Sebastian in the books, because
that's the Sebastian that we know.
Yeah, that's the one that we know. It's the one that we love. But I will say that he did a great job acting.
He did.
We didn't always agree with the writing of the show, but that's a different story.
Yeah.
But yeah, Sebastian in the books is incredible, guys. I just think of like I don't want to spoil it if you haven't read
the books for you, but you guys, it's so good and it's so sad, and
I feel
it's so very sad, and I don't know if you guys have read the Mortal Instruments series.
If you have, you know what we're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about. Like that scene in City of Heavenly Fire. That scene. The tears. Oh my god. And okay, so there's a scene in the Dark Artifices series, and you see this character again in some way. I'm not gonna spoil how, but you do see him again. And I remember I like dropped the book. Like I was terrified, because Sebastian is the type of character where he's so fucking insane. Like he is crazy, and you never know what he's gonna do. And
scary, yeah.
He's so scary, and he's just so amazing to read about. And I think like it's such a sad story though, because he never got the chance to be a person because of what happened, what Valentine did to him with like the demon blood. Like he was never able to.
It's just tragic, his story.
It's tragic.
It's very tragic, and you definitely feel for him.
Yeah.
Even though he's doing crazy things and he's insane, I feel like you feel for him because you know that like he just grew up so terrible.
Yeah,
and didn't have a good life, and I feel like because of that, it led him on that path. And I think that
it's so crazy to see. And then you see like his relationship with Jace, because Jace is somebody who was technically like raised by Valentine, and you see Jace also kind of straddle that line with like choices in a way. Like City of Lost Souls, that book is like amazing, and yeah, I think Sebastian, like, I think, like, when we talk about, like, our favorite villains, I think, obviously all the ones that we just talked about are amazing, but, like, when I think about villains, like, our favorites, I think, are obviously gonna be Anakin, Ben, and Sebastian from the book, from the Mortal Instruments. Like, those are, like, the top 3, like, if we had to pick.
Yeah, if we had to pick a top 3, that would definitely be it.
They're just, it's fantastic. And yeah, if you haven't read the Mortal Instruments,
we highly recommend that you go read them and then go read the other series.
Yeah, read all of the Cassandra Clare books because they are an experience and they are a ride for sure, and you'll love all of them.
Yes.
And yeah, I think that concludes our favorite bad boys.
Yep, that's all of our bad boys. I'm sure that we will find more in the future
because
we always love great villains.
And I'm sure we're forgetting some. I feel like
we're probably forgetting some. We'll probably think about it after this video and we'll be annoyed that we didn't include them. But
yeah, maybe from that we
might have to do a part 2 eventually. Stay tuned for that. That might come.
But yeah.
So be sure to check out the links down below, and we will see you in our next video.
Thanks for watching.
Bye!